today is Friday, August 6th. The time now is 4:05 p.m. Can I get a call, can I get a roll call, please?
Candidate. Here. Wiggins. Present. Fair. Kevin.
We do have a quorum present. Item number 3 on our agenda is invocation and flag salute. I'll do the invocation and you'll do the flag salute. Come stand, please. Father, we come to you this afternoon. We thank you once again for allowing us to have this day. Father, as we come into this meeting to take care of this business for this city, we ask that you let our hearts and our minds be focused on creating an atmosphere where we're going to take care of this city of Spencer in a way that's going to be conducive and productive for our citizens. We ask that we be allowed to return to our previous activities the way we left them, Father, and we actually hope that, Father, the activities are better than when we left them. We ask all these things in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have Gary on standby if you guys have any questions for him. He wasn't able to physically come, but he is willing to talk if you guys give me a call.
Yeah, let me go ahead and read this.
Sure. I just wanted to make sure you all knew he was available.
Okay. Item number 4.1 on our agenda, 4 is our business agenda, 4.1. Take action on authorizing the expenditure of estimated $13,000 to purchase 10 more for the infrastructure of Northeast 36th and 34th Street in Douglas. You want to give us just a quick overview?
So the bridge where the Twin Horns are, it's collapsing on the right and the left side. It is not safe. I had to reach out to waste management and to some of the other heavier equipment folks to let them know that it's not safe to cross over. This was brought to my attention Tuesday by Gary. We met out there Tuesday. By Thursday, he was able to finally find some tin horns. And so this morning or last night, he gave me the estimated cost, before I sent you guys the emergency packet to see if we could get this passed. If so, he's going to do work Monday. They're going to start at 7 a.m. He thinks he can have it complete by 5 p.m. If you all do approve, then we're going to take notices out to the area and deliver it to each resident.
I think the address is wrong.
The 34th Northeast, 34th and Douglas.
Yeah, it's north of 36th Street. I believe it's 43rd.
The street that I'm talking about specifically is 34th Street. It's when you're coming, I guess what is this going? North, if you're coming off 23rd, past Walmart, headed towards 36th is before you get to 36th. It's on 34th Street specifically. If you drive
So it's
back,
not on Douglas.
it's off of Douglas and 34th Street. So
So
the
it's on-
main street is 34th, you make a right on Douglas, or make a go east on Douglas, that's a one-way, it's a dead-end street.
Right.
That's 30.
Yes.
34th. It's on
All this
34th.
time I thought you had, because it says in Douglas, it's not, it's.
Well, I was just trying to give a frame of reference of what the street was, it's
Okay.
34th Street, and if you drive by it right now, you will see that there's a tin horn already sitting out there and some orange cones that our public works department.
But it kind of changes, here's why it changes what I need to know. When I thought it was the one on Douglas, like Spencer Road, and Ray asked me about it, because he was concerned about shutting down another major road.
Okay.
How many houses are on the other end of that, where the bridge goes down?
I think it was like 18.
17 or 18.
And they're all on Spencer's, because part of that is also Midwest City.
Gary gave me the call and said, you have a residential neighborhood whose road is about to cave in, because it came from Gary, I assumed it was all on Spencer, but I went out there to see it, I gave you guys a picture, it's literally caving in as folks drive by.
No, I don't doubt that, I'm just making sure that it's not partially also Midwest City's responsible, but if we're spending $13,000 in emergency.
Well, based off of the map and our code enforcement, it was all Spencer, like when we went over the actual map, so I would be happy to go out here right now and double check to see if
Yeah,
anything.
I just wanna make sure that there's not a
Sure.
partial share on
Of
this.
course not.
I'm
It's
trying
stacked
to
up
figure out
between
where
the
it
trees,
is.
isn't it? On the north side, it dead ends on Douglas, or it can go east.
Right.
And my grandpa used to have a house right there.
And isn't a portion of that, I know there was a response to it, but I thought there was, like, one side was,
That's all of that, Midwest City ends up to 27th Street.
So I'm
and I'm still wondering,
27th Street is where Midwest City ends. 27th is where Midwest City ends.
I need to go look at that, well, I really have no idea what you're talking about now.
It's right, just south of the trailer park. All of that's our stuff. Alrighty.
According to our map, it is all Spencer.
That's all Spencer. Yeah.
south of the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay.
All that's Spencer.
And that same, zoning map is also online, if anybody needs to go on there and double check to see.
It's all Spencer, this Midwest City actually ends at 27th Street.
Okay.
And it's on the east side of Douglas?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
now
ma'am.
we-
Not the other water issues right now. It's, across Douglas, yeah, on this side. And it's, it's a dead end, so you'll know it when you see it, cause it's a sign that says dead end.
It just did.
Yeah.
But after that, where the bridge falls down, where the bridge is like this, how many houses on the other side?
Several, which is, it's.
Like 3 or?
No, like 10.
Well, that was the confusion.
I put 34, I never said 36, I tried to be as specific as possible to give you guys a frame of reference. It is in Spencer, it has been headed by us to the county that we need to handle it because it is a.
I understand,
So
I'm
just
trying
making-
to explain something to you, I'm not
I
trying to get
understand
on
that you
to
didn't
you.
know that it was the right place, I'm saying I understand that, but this is the place and this is what needs to be fixed. That's all.
But the difference in the emergency is, we had Spencer Ridge Road Bridge out for almost 6 months because we couldn't afford to do something in a big hurry. And we haven't fixed Spencer Road Bridge, which is absolutely an emergency right now. So,
I'm just going off of the county
you're
contacted me.
still
The county contacted me and said, if we don't get this done right now, that it won't last another week and a half. It's a liability because it's a one-way in and one-way out. There are no other than, like other places where you might be able to go around, there is no way to go around here. These people will be literally trapped in their neighborhood because it's a one-way street and it's a dead end. So that's why I'm assuming Gary told me that this particular one was an emergency as opposed to the other 2 or 3 concerns that you guys have brought to him. This was directly from the county. This is not something that I brought in. It was not something that I'm recommending. I'm taking it from the professionals who are telling me that you guys are gonna have a serious problem if we don't fix that part. I'm happy to fix the other places. I am, but Gary is saying that because it's one way in and one way out, it's priority.
I have no problem with it being priority.
Okay.
I am trying to make sure that we understand what we're fixing. It's very simple, that we're supposed to do that.
Okay.
I sent you an
If you
email.
don't understand
Wait a minute,
that, I don't know what else to
I
say.
sent you, I don't wanna argue with you.
Well, we're
I
arguing
sent you
and you
an
guys can just
email.
make the motion.
I sent you an email about Spencer Road being in danger.
I forwarded that to Gary and to the commissioner.
Gary and the commissioner have already made it clear that that is not their responsibility. And we are sitting here with Spencer Road Bridge.
Can we make a motion about this and then talk about that?
I'm not gonna, excuse me. I have some questions.
The longer we wait, the longer these people are gonna be liable of getting hurt, that's all.
That's what I'm afraid of on Spencer Road.
But you don't hear that,
Exactly
these
what I
people
said.
are, can we fix one problem at a time?
No, because we got
And see, the
semis.
thing is this, there's a way to divert the traffic around Spencer Road.
I asked for that.
Where,
I've been asking for it for weeks.
but the thing is this issue today. This is
This is a different issue after I already put in, we had a previous
But
emergency.
that issue is not gonna stop anyone from getting to their homes. We got people that will not be able to get in and out of their homes. If we don't take care of
I
them.
just said,
Okay,
this
well,
is, you're making, you are ignoring the two, you can't talk about one problem and ignore the
No,
other. All I'm
no,
asking you
We
to
care
do
about
is.
that, Tony, I
This is
care about that
what's
road
on the
too.
agenda now.
We care about that road too, I just can't, the
This is
county
what
won't
I'm
help us
Put
with
it
that.
on the agenda.
She's not supposed to be talking.
No, yeah, I'm asking you a question. If one is an emergency and the other is an emergency, why wasn't the first emergency put on the
Because
agenda?
we can divert traffic and we can talk about
We're
that
not.
issue. We can talk about that other issue during our regular council meeting. If this doesn't last another week and they can do this work Monday to make sure that these people are not
Trapped, they'll be trapped on the street.
Trapped. They're either gonna be trapped one way or the other. They're gonna be trapped in their homes or out of their homes.
And a semi going off of that bridge at Spencer Road is not gonna kill somebody?
If we divert the traffic around, around to
I
Douglas.
just told you, I've sent several emails that haven't been addressed. I wanna fix one problem. The address on here was not clear. It's not 34th of Douglas.
This is.
We're paying for something that needs to be accurate, put the 100 block that it's on, so that
This-
we are approving it.
This is the deal.
Will always be so.
There is no address tied to the.
There's a
to the-
100 block.
Can we, okay, so, is it possible that we can just get that 100 block and put it in here, so we can, so we can make sure that we're gonna be, can I?
Ray asked for the address to be correct earlier.
Okay.
Okay, so, if we can handle this, let's just knock this down, 1, 2, 3. If we can get just that 100 block, we recognize, because they were trying to show me where it was, I was trying to visualize it. So if we can just get the 100 block, put it in here, so we'll know what we're approving, that's fine. That will take, you know what? You know what? Stop interrupting me, stop interrupting me.
We'll print it off
Please.
right now if you like.
Okay, yeah, just so we can just have that 100 block, and we know exactly what we're talking about.
She can't go sit up there.
I gotta stop interrupting people. And the other thing we can do, we can talk about, when you say we can, divert, just talk about diverting that traffic on Spencer Road, we can just talk about that.
The thing is this, that's not on the agenda.
I understand, but neither is the right address.
But
So
that-
this thing,
But this is still, that's still pertaining to the agenda item. Spencer Road is not on the agenda.
okay,
And we cannot discuss that because it's not on the agenda.
okay, well then we can't discuss where the actual location is. Look, if we've been discussing it, Fred, what is the issue of talking about a plan? I'm trying to make sure that we just put that aside, so we're gonna look at that later, look at you.
I said we can look at it at next council meeting. We can actually put it on the agenda and start trying to figure out if there is actually something.
I
that-
asked for an emergency meeting for Tuesday night. It is an emergency. What I'm asking you for is not something you wait 2 weeks for, is to have a semi go off a bridge. I don't know what you're not understanding. I called county, I said this is an emergency. County said they didn't authorize opening that bridge. Nobody has inspected Spencer Road Bridge. I have sent the emails. It is an emergency. I'm trying to keep somebody from getting killed in a much more highly populated road than the one you're looking on. And I fully think we need to fix this road. I have no problem with that.
Well,
But this involves 9 people instead of thousands of cars every day.
I'm trying to put down the address, Spencer Road Bridge and.
Just 34, northeast 3400 block.
she's talking about the bridge on Spencer Road.
Spencer Road, it's about 45th, Spring Road, between 46th and Spring Road. Spencer Road only has one bridge on it. It's the main road where Silver Creek goes through. We had it blocked off.
46 and Spring Road.
No, it's 46, the spring is around.
It sits between. On Spencer Road. Go down the road, go down the
No, I'm
road.
just trying to put it in the minutes. but-
Well, 4801 is on the north side of it, and 4800 is on the other side of it.
So if we're trying to condense what she said, she just said that's concern, this is what I'm gathering, because we didn't discuss this. There's cause for everything, we can go forward.
Pause. Can we put in the record that Ms. Fair entered the meeting, just for the record? Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry. That way she can participate. All right,
So we can, this is the place, 3400 block, that's what we're looking at, this 3400 block. I have a question, where's the 13,000 money, where's that coming from, do we know?
So we have a line for streets, we were gonna I wanted to get us here first so that we could check the line and see if we have the money for it. If not, Ann and Ken, who are our auditors, said to give them a call and they'll walk us through it, but I haven't had a chance to pull the budget to look at the line item for streets. That could possibly cover all of it, that we may have already budgeted for this. But since this has happened in the last 24 hours, I won't lie, I just haven't had a chance to go back and look at it.
I was about to ask you the percentage that would take.
Now, what I will do is make sure I email you regardless of, I'll email the council to let me know what funds are being pulled from, even if it just is streets, if that's what it is, and I'll just make sure that the council is aware.
Yeah, I wanna see where that's coming from,
Sure.
making sure that.
Transparency is key.
That it's there, and even going forward, then we have an idea of what we have left, if we have some other emergencies.
Yeah.
Now that we know that this is gonna be Spencer's, this is our thing,
Yes.
so we can't go and ask for Midwest City.
Yes.
It would've been nice if they would've joined us in this picture, but we can ask for Midwest City. I do understand, and there is some concern with the other streets, and granted, Mr. Calvin was saying we're not, that's not on the agenda, he's right about that, he's correct in that. However, the concern is no less important, because that rain, man, that did a lot of damage, and we're still hearing from residents that are having problems, still trying to get their flooding and get stuff done in their homes. So, I think moving forward, if we can put the same amount of emphasis on all areas, especially if there's streets that's used by our residents, and I'm not saying that I understand what I'm saying, our focus on that, and just trying to make sure that we make everybody safe, that's important.
I think on, this one, Ms. Williams, part of it is because we were only, responsible for the 10 horns, and then the labor and the other thing the county was taking care of, so it would have cost us more if it were just us paying for it out of pocket, but we're just paying for the 10 horns.
Okay, so that's a larger, I wondered about that, so
Yeah,
that's
so
a larger
this is just,
amount.
yes, ma'am, this is just the 10 horn amount, and then whatever labor or whatever that they have to use to actually fix the street, that all goes on the county.
Okay, how do we, as I look at this, see this picture, how do we move forward? Because I don't know, I was calling it a Tim horn, so I
understand.
don't know, so moving forward, how do we keep that from happening? Because this is gonna be a new product put in there, but I'm sure by the looks of it, it's supposed to last for a long, long time.
Yeah, and this one, according to him, has been there for a long time, it should have been rehabbed a long time ago, but I think now that we have new council members and we have new administrators, it'll be much easier to pay attention to these types of details, and it won't be 10 or 20 years before someone decides to rehab or even see the issue again. But according to him, it's needed attention for years now, and they just had the support to get it done.
Okay. So we do have to make this decision for this peer review affected. This was wow, it's like I was just running.
I would say, you see how the bottom of it is completely rotted out?
No, it's gone.
Yeah, there's no more metal at all, so that's where the buckling in the street is actually falling, because the actual 10 points.
Just the support that's supposed to
Yes,
work.
that's the support points, yeah.
What are we gonna do with this old thing?
Now, again, you want to call Gary, because I don't want to lie to
Ask
you,
Gary.
but I'd be more than happy to ask him.
And
what
set up a
they're
kids
doing.
camp and let them run through.
About to say, they get a shot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was about to say, somebody want to come out with a rust spray.
Because, the metal part here, I mean, for us as a city, maybe we can figure out something.
Listen,
I don't know.
I'm not against generating revenue at any point right
Yeah.
now. Whatever we need to do.
Okay, all right.
Can we get a motion, please?
I got an issue. When I worked in the oil field, and we had big trucks with tons of material on them, they make a portable device that you can lay over bridges to support them. So my question is, has anybody seen if there's something that you can get for both Spencer Road and that to temporarily address that till you actually get it worked out exactly what you want to do?
It's a portable device
It's
that,
a portable device, and it would span the culvert, where you got the problem on 43rd, and they make them big enough to cover 5, like the bridge on Spencer Road, where you can temporarily put that over until you got it, all your details worked out.
Okay.
huh,
I can see, we can look into that. That's not a terrible idea.
Either the oil field companies or the county might be aware, we can tell them that's what we're thinking about.
so you think, hey, that may be cost,
I'm texting
that
it
may
right
be
now.
cost,
Yeah.
that may be a better cost, and we can deal with both of these issues. I'm just glad you said
Not
that.
this point.
Not this
I would say,
one.
yeah, but for future, especially especially for that other one, it's definitely worth looking into. I don't think that would hurt. Yeah.
Can we get a motion, please? On this act for item number four.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
How long is it, I don't know, like, how long is it gonna take for us, for this to be replaced?
His estimate is they will do it Monday, they're gonna start at 7 a.m. and complete by 5. So this is why I need to know so that I can take those letters up to the residents to get them prepared also.
So it's just a day's project.
Yes.
Do we have barricades up right now?
We have actual cones around it, but we don't have anything stopping people from passing it right now.
Well, it's a no-brainer that we have to do that and make sure that they're taken care of, and I'm glad you were here, because that gives us something moving forward, sir, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Something positive for us, so, you wanna make the motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second it.
As long as we have the
Who made
address.
the motion? I'm sorry.
I make a motion on whatever the 3400 block, if you guys will put that in there, so that'll make Ray happy.
Yeah.
Got a motion and we got a second.
You wanna read Ray's into the minutes, because it is an emergency meeting, or I'll read it in, or you can read it in, or.
I think we need to, but the meaning of the emergency meeting is this. I reviewed the problem with the collapsing tin horn. It appears that if the situation is not corrected quickly, it might, cause injury to people and property. This fits the definition of an emergency as found at 25 OS section 305.5 as follows. 5, emergency meeting means any meeting called for the purpose of dealing with an emergency for purposes of the Open Meeting Act. An emergency is defined as a situation involving injury to persons or injury and damage to public or personal property or immediate financial loss when the time requirement for public notice of a special meeting would make such procedure impractical and increase the likelihood of injury or damage or immediate financial loss. I have been told Oklahoma County will start to work quickly if the tin horns are purchased. Sincerely, Ray Benson. So, we got a motion and a second, can we get a vote, please?
Aaron?
There.
Mhm.
Sorry, yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Canada?
Yes.
Carlton?
Yes. Motion passes. 5, remarks or comments, Ms. Kennedy?
What I'd like to know is, when can we call the emergency meeting to discuss Spencer Road Bridge? The county just told me it is an emergency. And that is not up to them to open, it is up to Spencer to hire the proper agents to come in and inspect the bridge before it was even opened, and it's open. And we've got semis traveling over it, which aren't even supposed to be on Spencer Road, and they're going up and down it all day long because the Midwest City Bridge is closed.
I will attempt to set up a meeting with Gary tomorrow and with Chief Dale, they're the two who've been giving me the information.
Monday.
And we'll try to see if we can get us a meeting set up for next week.
I'm sorry. I didn't interrupt you, but Monday, tomorrow, Saturday.
Today's Friday?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Well, it'll have to be Tuesdays until we working Monday on fixing that particular issue, but I will text her now and let her know that we need to have a talk with Chief so that we can call another meeting for the Spencer property.
Well, that's what I was trying to, when I sent you that email, when I had spoken to him, he said that was up to Spencer because county doesn't do any of
I
that.
just wanted him to walk me through all of the issues and what I would be responsible for, because I hadn't had a chance to see it other than the pictures and then me just driving past it, but I didn't understand what I was looking at. So I was gonna hope that he could meet me there along with Chief and maybe one of our public works people to explain exactly what the situation is so that I can better understand.
So can we get one lane closed now to where we don't have all this traffic going through at these speeds?
I'll do my best now. I'm just trying to, I guess I'll ask him, is it gonna collapse if we don't do it? That's been my question, is because I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the big to-do today in the afternoon, yesterday, was the water bills, what was going on. I've been getting, sure, a lot of our council members have been getting a lot of phone calls hope you guys have answered your calls, because we've been getting a lot of phone calls from citizens, about what's going on. But I will say that I came down and I asked them to adjust it, and it was adjusted. There's a line going through, people are here. We don't know, I don't know. But I do understand the angst when you get a triple bill, especially this time, people trying to get their babies ready for school. I understand that. So what I gather from all the information going back and forth, and emails and communication, is that we're still trying to figure out what is, what isn't. There was something that went out that told everybody that it was wrong, everything was wrong, and they were redoing it. One thing about it, we have got to develop a protocol of communication, because we have too many people out making broad statements that put the city in a bad position. And also, it gives false hope and false directives to our citizens. We've got to begin that, and we've got to, I didn't know about it, I honestly didn't know until someone showed me something. We've got to, us as council, city, we need to make sure we have one point of contact and information thoroughfare that is unbiased, that is just a thorough way to get information out timely to people, because we don't want to inflict any kind of undue frustration on behalf of our citizens. And for the most part, they're flexible. If you let them know what's going on, they're like, okay, that makes sense. It's flexible. I posted on my Facebook page, I know you got a tremendous bill, hang tight. We're gonna figure out, we're gonna do some rerunning. Now, I posted that based on some other information that Mr. Scanlon put in something. And I said, okay, we're gonna rerun it. We're gonna redo it. But I will say, if you all have experienced this, and tell your neighbors, anyone you know, to come here and talk with the people at City Hall, and just work on that process. Yeah, work on that process, because, it was scary. That was the scariest bill. That was scary. And I know we have a lot of senior citizens here. We have a lot of people here, that would promote some fear. And we want to alleviate that as much as possible. Okay? That's it.
Ms. Chair? My remarks and comments is, we've got some growing pains with everything that we're doing, and to Ms. Williams' remarks, I agree. But if we're gonna have one line of communication, it should come through City Hall. If you have any questions or comments, please come through City Hall. That's where the information is going to be generated. They've got the information, so that's come through City Hall.
Mr. Campbell, just what you said, we would cover City Hall, but that information came straight from Jim Scanlon to some kind of group meeting that he's on, and he had already resigned. So for Norman, we follow. I'm contacting. I will send an email to Ms. Jackson. I will, she's my only point of contact. So if you want to deal with this, then you need to cut those people off that should be cut off, and quit giving them the avenue to go out and do these things. And we can establish that one thing.
And that, or you're saying, I want to make sure that you're clear on it, you're saying we're only supposed to have, the citizens are supposed to be calling their representatives. The representatives are supposed to be getting an answer back from City Hall, so there is no mistake as to what the information is. You don't need 4,000 people calling City Hall. And that's what would have happened today, had they not been calling all of us as the amount that they were.
We still got 4,000.
They called us, they called everybody.
And I know that there were several people who said how much they appreciated the staff.
Yeah.
That we met out
They
here.
did.
She said her bill was $2,000 and she almost had a heart attack. She appreciated how you guys treated it.
Yeah, we're trying to do nothing else exercise a high level of customer service.
Here's where I'm trying to get to. not what I'm trying to get to, where I am. No one up here has the access to anyone's bill at City Hall. If a customer has, issue with the bill, they should need to contact city staff and let them discuss what the bill is. I understand that we get that we get calls, and trust me, I've had.
Have you returned any of the calls?
But, as I said, we are going to direct citizens to go to City Hall. And with that being the case, that's in my comment. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
He doesn't return any phone calls.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Let's adjourn this meeting.
I'll second. Can we get a vote, please?
Fair. Yes. Canada,
Yes.
Williams,
Absolutely.
Calvin.
Yes. Time now is 4:36
Yes, sir, this is,
Why does the water bill go up 5% every year?
because there was,
Let the mayor.
okay, do you want, he asked a question, why does the water bill go up 5% every year?
In the, I'll go.
Oh, say it out loud now. We all want to hear what you have to say to him. Here's. I'm going to sit here while he talks to you. I'd like to hear what he says to you too, if you don't mind.
Yes, I do.
I didn't ask you.
Secret?
It's a secret?
No, it's not a secret. This is the deal. This is the deal. Please get the phone out of my face, please.
This gentleman's trying to hear also.
He wants to hear too.
Right. And this is my voice. This is what happens. When the city of Spencer did their initial bond issue,
That they didn't put before the people?
Let me finish, Ms. Moss.
the city of Spencer did a bond issue some years ago, okay? So what happens is, in the bond, when they did the bond, there had to be a mechanism to make sure that the city could make sure that they paid the bond. No matter what happens with the city's revenue, it had to be some kind of mechanism put in place where they can continue to pay their bills and also pay the bond. And so built into that mechanism to make sure that there was an increase in revenues to make sure bills were paid, it was a 5% kicker put in there. And so that 5%
It was
was
a
added in there.
4.25%. I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to her.
I was talking.
I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to someone else.
But anyway, so what happens is that 5% that you see, that was the increase that the bond issuers built into the bond. And so
Guaranteed.
to guarantee that the city makes sure it pays its bills. One of the things that has happened over the course of time with municipal bonds was not just Spencer, but just municipal bonds, period. Municipal bonds were being issued by municipalities and not being paid back. And so, because they were becoming cash strapped. So in order to make sure that the bond holders were gonna get paid back, the bond companies made sure that there was something built in to make sure that those bonds were paid back. And so that 5% is a way to make sure that the bond gets paid.
Okay, now, when that was voted in, was that bond paid off or did it
Yes.
just keep going?
It was refinanced, so it's just like refinancing your house. You pay off your old note and then you reissue the bond.
So I've lived in my house 50 years here in Spencer,
Yes, sir.
and my water bill has went up 5% every year for 50 years.
No. As long as the bond, the bond has been in place. No, not.
Okay, so what year was that bond? Do you remember?
I can't tell you.
2007, August of 2007 for $4 million.
And what was it used for?
It was for water projects, I believe. I think
The
they.
water line project on Northeast 23rd from Douglas to Midwest Boulevard, and all the water and sewer lines in the area east of Post in the Hicks Annex area of Spencer.
So can I ask a question? So you're saying the 5% is something that the bond company set in place?
Right, that was part of the issue, that is part of the bond, that was one of the ways.
Part of the
that-
contract?
Part of the contract.
Okay, so, but they set that 5%.
I can't tell you how they came up with the number, because that was before I was on council,
Okay.
But that's been part of the bond project, that to make sure, from what I understand, is that is how they make sure, and it's part of the budgeting project. Excuse me, part of the budgeting process is also making sure that we build into the budget, making sure that there's funds available to make sure we make that bond. Because when someone has a 401k, their 401k, they'll buy into a municipal bond. And so to make sure that those people get their monies back, that is the reason why. If I have I'm a 401k holder, and I buy into a municipal bond, and I'm not gonna retire for 10 years or whatever, I wanna make sure that I'm making, my money's not gonna go to waste or get used, so.
It's back.
So
So
that's,
they charge the customers
Right,
that 5%.
right.
right,
And if we pay it off earlier,
Right.
because it is an investment, if we pay it off early, then we get substantial penalties, because that's exactly why they want us to invest in municipal bonds. It's a long-term plan, but the issue here, I think they're asking is, we've got that 5% that annually, that annual increase, when you look at compound interest, which happens very quickly. So you can start with 50, but 5% of that, and then 5% the next year, and then
Right.
5% of that.
'Cause there's no baseline.
There's
This is
no baseline, and it
5%
goes on, and there's no,
Right.
and matter of fact, there's no cap on that, because that's exactly
you're
what
just
it
paying
was.
until we
We
pay.
are paying that, we're paying that.
But that bond said that it's a 5% APR, not compound.
Right.
And that bond said in the resolution that our mayor signed in 2019, it said it was 4.25% interest APR, not compound. So they're
Well,
charging
compound is the process, so the
But you do it-
APR,
but I mean,
APR is what you're gonna, what is applied
every
to it.
every year.
Right, but
But-
compound is the mathematical process.
But
if
it's-
you add this, so it's not going to,
But we're being charged compounded because they're doing our thing every.
right, that's right, we've been charging compound because every year it goes out, that's what I'm saying. It goes
So
up
we're
5%.
being charged compound, but the city is only being charged APR. But
Right.
they're being charged 4.2
4.25.
according to their own papers that they provided, and we are being charged 5% APR.
So
And it
there's a
was
difference of 0.75% of that
that they
APR.
and Huey said over there and said we are not allowed to make money off of these bonds, but
Right,
the
we're
ci-
not.
and you are, because you're being
We're
charged
not.
4.25%. I have the paper at home that you signed, and you're charging us 5%. To me, that this is
I can't.
I can bring,
I-
but I'm just
here's-
explaining it, and the bond was done in 2019. So
The problem,
bond-
go ahead.
No, I don't know, the bond was done in 20.
okay, 20, then fine. It was 2019, 20.
I'm gonna tell you this.
He
hopefully-
wants to know.
Hopefully, I've answered your question,
Yeah.
but I'm like everybody else. I stopped work and I'm still trying to get back to work, but hopefully I answered your question.
But this is your job. You signed on to do this.
Ma'am,
Just
I-
like
I-
answering your
yeah,
phone.
right,
You
right,
don't.
but yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I took
But-
off of work to be here.
Thank you, and I appreciate you being here.
I can tell because you don't answer your phone.
Thank you.
But continue.
Thank you, and I'm not. Thank you.
We know, you
but
just admitted
anyway,
you're not.
Let me ask you a question.
Did you hear him admit that?
Bond issue,
Right.
is this apply to that too? Does that apply to that, the last bond
Yes.
issue?
Yes.
They rolled it all in.
Yeah,
They
everything rolled
all
over.
in.
It
So
rolled
they're
over.
statute, the 9 million amount bond, and we have such a high interest rate. What I learned is they had to shop it because of the fiscal frailty of the city, the municipality. They had to really shop that. And so you went to a bond company, it's kind of like you go to these payday loans.
Well, I
That's
understand, because when you
yeah.
look at the businesses that Spencer has,
Right,
there's
right,
such a limit.
Right.
right,
Such a
right.
limit.
Let me give you this, sir, and I appreciate you. And like I said, one of the things that I'm gonna give you, sir, is this. One of the things that, one of the things I'll give you, sir, is this. When talking to the bond company, we discussed early payoff of the bond.